Hello, it's Ashy. Today I have with me Walk,
Hello.
and I also have Dez.
Howdy!
So, we went through some wild empathy support last time, so to wake everyone up, it's time for Wild Shape. This is a pretty solid evergreen ability for druids that they gain at 4th level. We mentioned it and showed some scaling.
It's half the reason you only play a druid.
I mean, what's the other half? Animal Companion?
Spell.
Spells?
I was gonna say it's more like animal companion and spellcasting over the rest of it.
That's what it is to half, though. That's like 3 parts. So that's a third of the reason why.
I still think the saddest thing is when people think animal companion, their first thought tends to go to ranger, and then we just have to nod at them sadly.
I mean,
Fritz has left some very terrible.
He's a ranger, though.
Yeah, for being the fucking poster boy for rangers, you'd figure they'd be better.
Oof. Fair.
I mean, he's just a guy. Most of everything he does is propped up by the fact he's got busted drow stats.
Let's also be fair. They may say he's a ranger, but I have one of the books here that has his stats in them, and he's only got like 2 levels of ranger. It's the last class he's gone into. He's got like dozens of classes in other things.
Why?
Oh,
So
that
he's not
guy.
even. Yeah, yeah. It's the same thing with his rival Artemis. Says he's an assassin, only 1 level assassin. Most of his stuff is other things.
Okay.
Wait, if he's only 2 levels of ranger, how does he have a displacer beast?
I mean,
Plot.
he
No,
he
a
doesn't.
panther. A panther.
That's a figurine of wondrous power.
Oh,
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Alright,
yeah.
alright. Back to Druid and Wild Shape, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright. So, our little covering, like, really barely did any justice, so, let's go through what Wild Shape actually does. So, at level 4, when a Druid gains Wild Shape, they can gain any of the listed abilities, should it be on the base creature. When it is first gained, it acts as B-Shape 1, and it includes movement forms and senses. These are always nice to gain since they add convenience the Druid may lack in their natural form. It is also important to mention that they gain the natural attack forms of whatever they turn into. And what they can turn into is limited by what the Druid knows exists. The stats gained here are mostly size bonuses, so they will stack with enhancement bonuses, but not with other size bonuses. If they choose to become a small animal, their size becomes small, which from medium is like a +1 to AC and to attack rolls, but a -1 to CMB and CMD. That's natural for any small creature, though. They also gain a +2 to dexterity and a +1 natural armor bonus, which all this helps them to be a little harder to hit and maybe hit a little more reliably. If they would become a medium animal, they get a +2 strength bonus and a +2 natural armor bonus. Deinonychus lives here as a noteworthy creature that has 4 natural attacks out of the gate, 2 primary talons, a primary bite, and a secondary foreclaws natural attack. DC 18 nature check as a rare creature to identify it at worst, assuming the knowledge skill rules are being followed.
at this point, we've kind of just rolled back to we're back to dinosaurs. It's notable
Yeah.
if your DM likes dinosaurs.
Hey,
If-
as long as they haven't just outright said there's literally no way you can know this exists, and let you make a check for it, you can probably turn into it.
True, but still, if your DM don't like dinosaurs, they're just gonna flat out say no.
Probably.
Who doesn't like dinosaurs, though? Psychopath behavior, that's what.
Sci-fi, overly sci-fi nerds who just don't believe in anything fantasy and old.
Why? Hold on, are we saying that like creationists, sci-fi nerds are creationists who don't believe in dinosaurs?
That's very possible.
Okay, so hear me out.
Damn.
Dinosaurs, but cyborgs.
That's only for you, Numeria.
I mean,
Okay.
I've played Rifts. I am absolutely used to robot T-Rexes, but not everybody is.
More to the point, they just exist on Galarian.
Oddly enough, yes.
Dinosaurs just exist.
Yeah.
You'd figure they wouldn't be around with the fact that, there's just much bigger predators out there.
Okay, so it's the whole journey to the center of the Earth type dinosaurs. They're underground.
Ah.
Or on Medio Gulf.
Yeah. Well, that.
Or
But no,
on the
there's like
random
getting-
encounter chart in a field.
Or the random
I've encountered
chart.
that. We got Rexed in Numeria going towards the field of 10,000 blades. Just a T-Rex in the fucking street. I'm like, why? Where did you come from? It was dinner
Alright.
by the time we were done, but
Yeah,
Level
that's true, you guys
6.
did eat it, didn't you? So at level 6, the ability will advance to like Beast Shape 2 from Beast Shape 1. Grab, Pounce, and Trip are combat abilities that are added to your movements and senses that were previously gained. These are pretty good. The movement speeds that are listed also increase, which is very nice. Additionally, the Druid can choose to become a tiny animal or a large animal in addition to like small and medium.
notable that if your creature has Pounce and Grab, we can have Pounce and Grab.
You get Pounce and Grab. You work at stuff.
Warcat.
Or any other large cat, really. The war cats are just nasty for it.
Yeah.
So, your tiny animals get a +4 to dexterity and -2 to strength, as well as that +1 natural armor bonus. Like a small creature, they also have increased bonuses and penalties based on size, like a +2 to hit and AC, and they have that same penalty to CMB and CMD. They also get, like, a stealth bonus. Pretty sizable stealth bonus. Tiny creatures run into this issue of having less than 5 feet of reach. So a tiny creature is, unsurprisingly, kind of a poor choice for aggression, but could be an asset to a caster-focused druid. I.e., you want to be a bird, fly around, throw down lightning from your bird form. Be hard to hit, you know. That kind of thing. The large creatures, they get a +4 to strength, a -2 to dex, and a +4 natural armor bonus.
I think one of the points we should make is, especially if there's 5e players listening, you don't inherit the hit points and the base stats of the creature you transform into. These are all just things that you pick the base form, and you just start applying whatever features are applicable to your actual character,
Yeah,
and
to your base
modify the
stats.
size.
So
Yeah.
if you started with a 7 strength, that 4 plus 4 getting added to that 7 is only going to bring you to an 11. You're not going to inherit like an 18 strength off of being a warcat or something.
No. But if you're a strength-based druid,
If you got a base 16,
you're adding +4
that
to your
+4
18, and then you'll have 22
Yeah.
strength. So if you're inherently already quite weak, going for the massive animals is effectively only going to be there to...
You could patch it a little bit, but
Yeah, it's going to patch it,
it's-
or you exist to plant your fucking ass into a corridor and say no one's getting past this beat on my ass.
Yeah, it's
You might have a good con.
It's definitely better as an additive modifier. It doesn't replace your stats. Anyways, a large creature, they are easier to hit, and they have a harder time landing their own attacks because they're larger. So they get a -1 to their attack rolls, a -1 to AC, but they are harder to CMB or CMD, getting like a +1 to both of those stats. They're also easier to perceive when they're trying to sneak. Also, at this this level 6 breakpoint, you gain access to Elemental Body 1. So, Elemental Body allows for a druid to become a small elemental. They gain some abilities based on what elemental they are becoming. Air elementals, they can fly good. They can create a whirlwind. They get a +2 to dex and a +2 to natural armor, as well as dark vision. Yeah, you can turn into a small whirlwind. It gets much more impressive as you gain size, but you can be a whirlwind at base, which is kind of cute. Earth Elemental getting Earth Glide. This is better than a burrow technically. They get a +2 to strength and a +4 natural armor bonus. Dark Vision 60, again. Fire Elementals gain Burn. Fire Resistance 20. Cold Vulnerability. +2 to Dexterity, +2 natural armor, Dark Vision. Burn can be a consistent source of damage, which can be pretty nasty early on. As a small elemental, it is only a D4 burn though.
I mean, free damage is still nice.
Yeah, free damage is still nice. The water elemental, they get a swim speed, and they can create a vortex, which functions like whirlwind, but it's water. They can breathe underwater. +2 con and +4 natural armor makes it kind of like the tankiest elemental form early on. Also Dark Vision 60. And again, whirlwind and vortex utility, it's limited by size. The forms are still pretty solid, though. At level 8, Wild Shape can function as Beast Shape 3, which has everything from Beast Shape 2 and 1 with some add-ons. It is worth noting that Druid does not gain any of the magical beast options, thus this is the end of the Beast Shape form scaling. It has a diminutive and huge animals. It gives a burrow speed finally. The other move speeds are increased to 90, which is fantastic.
There's Constrict, there's Ferocity, which can be useful to prevent you getting knocked down on that first instance. Rake, which, if it's got Pounce Grab, it probably has Rake.
Probably.
If you decide to be a spider, it has its webbing ability. If you're a squid, you get Jet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure only squids get that.
There might be something else, but most notably, yes, squids get that. And Trample's here too.
Trample's
Mindset
here,
is also
which
added to
is...
defenses.
There we go.
So, a diminutive animal. They get a +6 to dexterity, a -4 to strength, plus a natural armor bonus. Being diminutive, again, you have no reach at all. The AC bonuses from size and dex, it might be worth consideration. Though, by now likely you have some better forms to be using, like, for defense. Rather than just becoming really fucking tiny.
The biggest defensive ability a diminutive animal has is the fact that you turn into it and then you just walk underneath the crack between the door and the floor.
Yes. So you play a spring attack, but you kind of just waddle out, fire if you spell, waddle back.
Pretty much.
The door is your shield.
Didn't know we were playing Dark Souls.
On the other side of the spectrum, you have the huge animal, which gives a formidable +6 to strength, a -4 to dexterity, a +6 natural armor, which offsets the loss of dexterity as far as the AC goes, as well as the AC from your size. And that strength easily offsets any penalty to attack from size.
So what you're effectively seeing here is that a strength druid, between their enhancement belt and their huge forms, you can become really big, really strong, because you got a +5 belt, presumably. You've got +6 from this. Your strength is probably starting to breach 30s.
Yeah.
If you've got any other sorts of strength gain.
You mean like a morale bonus floating from somewhere?
No. Or untyped, Ironstone. I'm sure there's an Ironstone that just gives you a floating non-type bonus. Profane or Sacred bonus.
I think it is considered enhancement, unfortunately. But minor detail.
Enough.
And you can get stronger than +6.
Well, yeah, you can, because we're going to be looking at the Earth Elemental towards the... No, Earth Elemental is also +6. Where's the Giant Strength? Oh, Elemental Body 4, never mind.
Yeah, we're going to get there eventually.
There it is.
So, speaking on Elementals, there's Elemental Body 2 that's also added at 8. It gives mostly the same abilities as Elemental Body 1, but all the bonuses are increased. The size bonus to stats are all boosted by +2. The natural armor is boosted by +1 across the board. Air and fire elementals will now match earth and water elementals for the bonus to AC due to their increases. And the strength allows for more damage to go out for an earth elemental. Constitution, being at its highest, still makes water elemental the tankiest. Fire elemental burn has come to a d6 at this point. And additionally, plant shape 1 is added to the list of things now. So at level 8 you could start becoming a plant. And doing so will grant you the ability to become a medium or small plant, offers you dark vision, low light vision, grab, constrict, and poison from whatever plant. If the plant is normally immobile, you get to keep like a move speed of 5. If it has the vulnerability though, you will gain the vulnerability. Small plants get that +2 size bonus to con, and a +2 natural armor bonus. Medium plants, they gain a +2 to strength, a +2 enhancement to con, and a +2 natural armor bonus. The +2 enhancement to con is weird here, as it prevents it from stacking with a belt of con, which might be deliberate, but from a 5th level spell equivalent, it wouldn't be unbalanced, I don't think, if it just stacked. If it was just a size bonus, like normal.
Yep.
Regardless, if you can identify it, the green man can fit here as a medium creature. But it doesn't really get good until later on.
No, but the green man, once it is good,
It's
quite good.
stupid. Yeah, you only have to make probably a DC 41 nature check to identify it. It's fine.
Doable.
It is.
It's doable.
So at level 10, your elemental body will now go up to 3. This will cause the form to be large. At large, the air elemental whirlwind and water elemental vortex start to pick up traction with more things it can affect. Additionally, your druid will become immune to bleed, crits, and sneak attacks. Air elementals now get a little bit of strength at a +2 strength, +4 dex, +4 natural armor. Earth elementals now get up to +6 strength, -2 dex, +2 constitution, and +6 natural armor. Fire elementals will now have +4 dexterity, +2 to constitution, +4 natural armor. The burn's now going to be a d8. Water elementals will now have +2 strength, -2 to dexterity, and a +6 to constitution, and a +6 to natural armor.
Once you're at this level 10 point, you should be generally considering what your different wild shape versions do. Like, you could just go for your huge animal, but they're the best for their natural attack piles. But if you're wanting to actually be defensive and start turning off crits and sneak attacks, bleed effects, your elemental bodies are generally a lot more durable because they just say no to a lot of things. Plant shape's weird. Plant shape does weird things.
Yeah. And I guess it might be relevant to note that at this point, at level 10, air and fire have overtaken earth and water for AC. Though water still gets the most HP, with earth still maintaining that hardest swing. Like I said, if you really wanted to be kind of like thick and tanky, water elemental is still a pretty good choice. +6 to con is nothing to sneeze at.
The thing is, with the air elemental, you get a fly speed. With the earth elemental, you got earth glide, so you can just dip in and out of the floor.
Yeah, the water mobility is like the least valuable.
Fire elemental doesn't give you a whole lot except from that fire. It's like, I think fire elemental, because I was about to say the fire elemental is probably the weakest, but it's probably one of the more valuable, since one of the most common damage types is fire. So fire exists in that point of not being fireballed or dragon breath by a red.
And if something is vulnerable to fire or turned off by fire in some way, having a D8 burn on hit isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, but you're level 10, a D8 burn that they can just probably avoid is the reflex
Well,
save.
it is a reflex save that scales with your constitution. So depending on what they are, they might have a 4 reflex save, which tends to be a common weak save.
I just don't think D8 at this point matters much.
Well, maybe it'll matter a little bit more later.
Like, you can go for your fire elemental, but you're not doing it for the burn. The burn is incidental to what you're doing, probably not being blasted by a fire breath.
I mean, that fire resistance is pretty nice against fire. And turning into a fire elemental is detrimental if you're fighting anything cold.
Turn into a fire elemental. Offer hugs.
Yeah, it's hard to grapple. It is an answer to grapple, but you could also just turn it into something really big and just break the grapple that way.
Yeah. So,
like,
also... Go on.
I was going to say, like, the best thing you're probably going to be doing for getting out of grapples is elemental body, and if they can somehow grapple elementals, turning into the elemental, like, the whirlwind, because you can't grapple a tornado.
Logic dictates you cannot. Anyways, at this level 10 breakpoint, Plant Shape 2 is also added on. Which, it adds large plant forms, and will also add energy resistance to any of the plants' resistances or immunities, and the large plant that you get gets a +4 to strength and a +2 to constitution, as well as a +4 natural armor bonus.
Yeah.
So level 12. Level 12 is the cap for wild shape. This is one of the forms you naturally get from like the class progression. This is kind of like the end state of it. So Elemental Body 4 gives the Druid huge elemental forms. And now most things will be sucked into vortexes and whirlwinds of air and water elementals. Additionally to everything before, there's now a DR5 everything that cannot be overcome. And the natural armor has not really improved across the board for Elemental Body, but air elementals now get a +4 to strength, +6 to dexterity. Their fly speed is now 120 feet. Earth elementals now get a whopping +8 to strength to go with that +4 to constitution. They still get -2 dex. Fire elementals now enjoy a +6 to dexterity, a +4 to constitution, and their burn is now 2d6. Water elementals get that +4 to strength, but they have that whopping +8 constitution. They still have a -2 to dexterity. They do get up to 120-foot swim speed. And the story of what roles they fill isn't much different from 3. It's pretty obvious where they're supposed to sit. So does a 2d6 burn matter, do you think?
A great sword of damage? Maybe,
It's level 12, mind you.
You are level 12.
It's a great sort of damage for free. Like, while it is stupidly resisted, especially by level 12, you're running into it like pretty much every other fight something is resistant to fire. I mean, when it comes up, it can be nice. I wouldn't mind just once per round 2d6 damage throwing at everything that's trying to cuddle up to me.
True, but again, I see the fire elemental as the fire elemental being what it is, being generally the most basic and whatever across the board. I think it just exists at points like that's incidental to you not wanting to get fire breath. Because generally you're either air or earth.
Fair.
And then you're water, if you have to be in water. And your fire kind of just sits there. Maybe some people really like fire and they'll use it as their primary shape. I don't know. I wouldn't.
If they like dexterity increases and constitution increases. So getting the
I suppose fire is a caster form.
Help.
I suppose being a caster, it's a decent caster form.
It is big dex. It is pretty con.
Find a village that some enemies have attacked. Village is on fire. Turn into fire elemental. Hide amongst fire. Jump them.
Sure. Once it
Use
comes
it
to
as a stealth mechanic.
Yeah, but once it becomes a strategic choice, then anything can be good if you're creative enough.
That's fair.
It doesn't even have to be strategic. Anything can be good if you're creative enough.
So, I think we can talk about this last bit here. So finally, we have Plant Shape 3. Damage reduction is added on. Regeneration up to 5 is added on. Trample is added on. Huge Plant is added to the list. Huge Plant gives a +8 to Strength, a -2 Dex penalty, a +4 to Con, a +6 Natural Armor. So it's basically a lot about with what the Earth Elemental gives you, but with a different ability set.
Now, that regeneration 5, if you can identify a green man, is where it gets good, because the regeneration of a green man can only be turned off by mythic or deific damage. Yeah. Which means, as long as you are in that green man shape, you cannot die. Because regeneration will stop you dying, unless you get disintegrated or destruction.
Unless something is capable of hitting you for deific/mythic damage.
Or instantly destroys you below 0.
Yeah.
Otherwise, an entire tribe of orcs could be chopping you into the smallest pieces ever, and they are going to start slurping back together.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget that there's also the DR15 that can only be, bypassed by, what was it?
Divine Slashing.
Yeah, Divine and Slashing.
This is why Green Man is notable, because it just gives you a bunch of stuff that is not mitigatable by your run-of-the-mill things you will ever see. Nothing you're fighting, except maybe the end boss who has got a couple of mythic levels, or you're actually fighting a deity, like at the like Unity or something, they're not bypassing anything you've got. You are just now incredibly durable.
Be nice to your DM, don't do it.
Be mean to your DM. And hope they read the book, because if they don't read the monster listing, they're going to be in for a surprise.
And that's Wild Shape, folks.
Now there's a million feats for it. Let's make it better.
Well, okay. First, there's a trait for it.
Okay.
Beast of the Society.
You have to be part of the PFS for this.
It
Unless
is a
your DM doesn't
Pathfinder
count.
Society trait, and its benefit is when you become a smaller medium animal, so it only works for the smaller medium animal portion. The wild shape duration is just effectively doubled. So Deinonychus form will last for 2 hours per druid level instead of 1 hour per druid level.
Green Man will last 2 hours per level, because fucking
Green
Green
Man's
Man
not an
is a
animal.
medium creature. Wait.
It says
Oh,
animal.
it says animal, not wild
It says
shape.
animal.
Ah, no.
Behave,
I'm
aw.
sad. I'm sad now.
Hey, it
It's
didn't
an
make me any
animal.
better, okay?
I died. You're right, it's too good as it is.
Yeah. And with that one trait out of the way, feats! Who doesn't love feats? Do you like feats-wa? I like feats-wa.
I like having 4 feats at level 1 myself.
You know, yeah.
Anti-hero. Humans.
So energize wild shape. So it allows, and this is based off of its verbiage, for when you use wild shape, you pick an energy type, and from one of the common energies, mind you, you get resistance 10 to that energy. Well, one of your natural attacks does 1d6 points of damage of that type of energy. If you chose a form that already has that type of energy already, you boost the native resistance by 5, and boost the energy damage by a die step. There is some special text here that says you can take this feat more than once and apply it to different elemental types, though with the base wording being what it is, it implies it was meant to be a choose one, rather than a choose one when you wild shape. So...
See, that's true, but if you've got it multiple times, wouldn't at that point it be saying benefit of this feat, instance 1, benefit of this feat, instance 2?
That's kind of the weird thing about the wording. The benefit, based on its wording, says when you use wild shape, you choose one.
Yeah, but if you've got this feat twice, each instance of the feat says choose one.
Oh.
You understand what I'm saying?
So
The
what you're
feat
saying is...
does this. So when you wild shape, each instance of the feat is pick one.
That sounds like an interesting interpretation. Probably not intended, but if you're right, then that makes this feat a lot better.
Well, it says pick it more than once. But you choose a different energy type each time.
Okay. You're probably right then. It works now.
So this is worth stacking if you can find the feats for it. You're a druid, you probably do.
I mean, as a druid, you probably don't have too many feats that you need to take. Most of your feats are what you want to take.
So this is useful because the energy resist 10 can actually stop things doing incidental elemental damage that might switch off regeneration. It's not limited to animal form, so you can make a weird prismatic elemental out of this.
You could.
And if you go in plant shape, you can start offsetting vulnerabilities and regeneration disablers. It's usually fire in that case.
Hey, maybe this will make fire elemental better. Up the burn by a die stab. Lamau.
Yeah. True. Maybe about 2d8 at level 12.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
It's not too bad. But if my interpretation of this is how I'm reading it works, this is actually pretty good to stack, because if you've got heavy multi-attack shenanigans going on and you just maul them, there's an additional pile of dice.
Yeah.
May as well be some level, like 8 levels of sneak attack, but elemental at that point. So, depending on how you swing this with a DM, it's either decent or stackable and really fucking funny.
Yeah, we also have a feat following up that is kind of similar in nature. Elemental Claws. So, similar to the Energized Wild Shape, when you attack with a natural weapon, you can select one of the 4 common types. On a hit, you gain a d6 points of damage of that type. It has to be declared before the attack roll is made, and you can only attempt this feat once per day per 4 levels you have, and only once per round.
I don't. So, you might ask, why would you take this over Energized Wild Shape? Well, the requirements on it are much lower.
It does not have very stringent requirements, no.
It's not got that you need 19 Wisdom.
Yeah.
So, this is not very good, but it's easy access.
Yeah.
And we're sort of back to that point of disabling regeneration or something that's popped by a specific element. Because there are things like that you need to apply an amount of damage of something to them to stop them doing whatever. It's a thing.
The first feat that came to mind when I thought about this was like Elemental Fist and Stunning Fist, by extension. But those also just have better scaling, or do something more powerful than just damage.
It's a D6.
Yeah.
Not many times a day, unless you're max level.
I mean, even if you're max
then you might
level,
have 5 times.
you got like, yeah, even if you're max level, you have like 5 times per day that you can use it. It's not very good.
I can only ever see this being something you pick up if there is a feat somewhere that you're wanting that requires you to be able to do elemental damage as a prerequisite. Not that you actually have to use it, you just need to be capable of doing it. And having this feat would probably fill that requirement.
Possibly.
So I feel like this is more of a tax feat for something. What that is, I don't know, but it feels tax.
Arguably, Fire Elemental Wild Shape might also disqualify, or the Energized Wild Shape, if you can qualify for it, would probably qualify by the same logic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this ain't good. This ain't worth it. This is not worth a feat slot. There's items that do better than this.
Yeah, there are. Delinquescent Gloves, as an example. Anyways.
AMF with any enchantment on it. Fist Wraps with any elemental enchantment on it.
So here's one that might be a little more exciting. Planner Wild Shape.
Hell yeah. Oh, remember, all these stack with each other.
Yes.
All these are gonna stack.
Yeah, pretty much all of these would stack. So, Planner Wild Shape. Use Wild Shape to take the form of an animal, so animal's important here.
Mm-hmm.
You can consume an additional use to gain the Celestial or Fiendish template. You are alignment restricted on choice here. These are simple templates. They offer once per day smite to the Wild Shape form. They will target the opposing alignment, and they function essentially as a Paladin Smite. More relevantly, the templates themselves offer a modest spell resistance of CR plus 5 and damage reduction, good or evil, depending on the template. And these will scale to your hit dice. 5 to 10 is the DR5, and 11 plus is the DR10. And scaling elemental resistance, Celestial giving cold, acid, and electricity, 5, 10, or 15. Fiendish giving fire and cold, 5, 10, or 15. Scaling with hit dice again. Oh, also Dark Vision. Oh, also this feat gives this cute bonus to confirm crits against creatures of the alignment opposing the template.
There is definitely something to be said for this, because I had the Celestial Summons on, I don't remember who it was, probably Trin. And if you are wild-shaped into something, and it has like a single monstrously big attack like the Rex's Bite, declare that a smite. Just hit them with it. Then you're happy. The smite isn't great, but if you do have some particularly devastating single big hit coming, it's actually pretty good. It pairs well with Vital Strike stuff if you're doing that.
I think this might actually be more relevant on a player character than most summons, because it is, in effect, a once per day Paladin Smite for your normal character. If you have a positive Charisma, you're adding your Charisma modifier to your attack roll, you're adding your Charisma modifier to your AC, and you are applying your level and damage to your target. More damage if they happen to be an opposing, like, undead, dragon, or outsider.
Yep.
Honestly, even if you don't have a good charisma, still good.
Yeah, adding your level to anything is probably worth it.
And I feel like almost more importantly, let's say your go line, you have the Celestial template applied to your animal form, whatever form it is, and you have 11 plus hit dice. you're getting 15 energy resistance to cold, acid, and electricity just for turning into the form.
Mm-hmm.
And DR10, that would be bypassed by evil.
Note that an evil creature doesn't inherently bypass it.
Correct.
An evil creature with natural attacks that has... my brain. There's a way DR works. Basically, if something is made of adamantine, or it has damage reduction of adamantine, its natural attacks will overcome adamantine. It's weird.
And this works for elemental-based...
Yeah.
Not elemental. Alignment-based DR as well.
Yeah. So, an evil guy with a sword, unless it's an unholy sword, isn't overcoming that. An outsider punching you that's an evil outsider is going to overcome it. Because they are inherently evil as a being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're also inherently evil and able to bypass in your go-to line, you can turn around and smite the shit out of them.
And you can smite the fuck out of them.
So anyways, I think this is a pretty cool, good feat.
It is. In fact, with all the defensives it gets, it's almost build defining, and you are now focusing on wild shape because it is so good. Same with energized wild shape, to be honest. Like, if you are taking these feats, you are now a wild shape focused druid, or you should be.
And you can stack them.
Or you're a caster druid who's using your wild shape for a pile of resistances and immunities, so they can't stop you casting. But you're still a wild shape focused druid.
Either that, or you're a shifter.
Yeah,
Or you're a shifter.
you could be a shifter too.
But then you've no spells, so you're probably trying to maul them anyway.
Yeah, you're
So that goes
Well, yeah, that's
You
the
are
thing.
definitely wild shape focused on a shifter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no shit. That's their one class feature, basically.
Hell yeah.
Alright, quick wild shape. So, quick wild shape allows for you to move action or swift action change your form. You are limited to forms below your current level, however. For example, you would get this feat at 8th minimum somehow. It would only allow you to use the B-Shape 1 forms as a swift action, or the B-Shape 2 forms, or Elemental Body 1 forms as a move action.
So, if you had this at level 14, now you're uninhibited, because it's minus 2 levels, you're still level 12 for your level 12 abilities.
Yeah, for the move action. If you want the swift one, you'd have to be at least level 16, which is still pretty fine.
I mean, swift
And
action wild shit is pretty good.
And in any case, it could still be pretty valuable in a combat situation where you need to change forms mid-fight to respond to battlefield conditions.
I mean, especially if you have the Planar Wild Shape and Energize, because even your lower tier form still has your hit dice worth of resistances.
Yes.
So, the hit dice scaling isn't affected by this whatsoever. You just,
And
gotta go a bit
keeping
smaller.
in mind that, as per wording, it's only really affecting the forms you can choose, not the actual effects. So hypothetically, even if you were, say, only level 8 or 9 with this feat, you would still be able to probably pounce as a Deinonychus, despite using it as, like, B-Shape 1.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
It's not really much of a hindrance, is it? Now you think about it. It wants to be a hindrance, it wants to be a cost, but it's not.
You get to a high enough level, it stops mattering.
And then it stops mattering
through,
anyway.
Your wild shape uses pretty quickly if you're just spamming it.
I mean, if you're spamming wild shape and changing it to different things and different things anyway, you're running out of them anyway.
Yeah, true. And doing so...
It's a decent oh shit button.
Kinda nice.
It also means at the beginning of a fight, you're not wasting an action wild shaping anyway, you just swift action, well, I'm not actually affected by this, my normal choice is a Deinonychus or whatever. And then you get straight into fucking charge pouncing. You're not wasting the first turn setting up.
Charge, pounce, basically full attack. Or...
And once you're high enough level, you're probably permanently in wild shape anyway. Because there is extend. There is extend. If you have that trait, that's 4 hours per level of animal.
It's like there is kind of the thought of like, I was thinking to myself, is this good or is this a noob trap? Because my thoughts were kind of leaning towards you're probably going to be spending your entire day as an animal or whatever form you're in anyways. But like, being able to quickly change mid-combat could actually be still valuable.
I think there's either you've been ambushed with your pants down, or you need to change form right the fuck now to deal with something that you can't. You know, something's flying and you're a bit fucked. You're grappled by a grapple monster. I need to be ungrappleable. However way you want to do it. I think this is not a noob trap. It's a utility option that is either feast or famine. You're either finding it really useful because your DM's a scumbag who likes to fuck with the battlefield conditions in more complex ways. If you're tank and spank style DM where you just get thrown a bunch of shit at you and it's like, oh, I'll deal with this, you deal with that. Probably not worth having. You know, if your DM's kind of basic, it's not good. If your DM's a fucking strategic genius who likes to torture you, it might be worth taking.
Shit, I might be basic. Anyways,
you're a bit basic. It's a bit tank and spanky.
Oof. Oof. Anyways, sorry, I'll try to be more tactical in the future. A mutated shape.
Oh, it's another Wiz 19.
Yeah, it also comes with a dandy chart that helps to show its effect. So, essentially what it does is when you use Wild Shape, you can grow an additional appendage and get an extra attack out of it. Like a Bite, a Claw, a Gore, a Slam, a Sting, or even Talons. Like, and it does damage based on this chart. It's a primary attack.
I wonder if this... Well, I was about to say, I wonder if this fixes that some forms don't have great primaries, but most things have got like a expanded dice bite or something. Most things have got an actual nasty primary attack. It's either their jaws, or it might be a massive tail slam like on an Anki or something.
Yeah.
There's things you could do out of this. You could add you get another attack out of it at the end anyway if you force it to be used as secondary. Oh no, you're full natural. You don't treat them as secondaries, do you?
These are treated as primary attacks.
Yeah, it's just another attack.
It's just another attack.
Yeah. Shit, there's another attack. If you've got Energized Wild Shape with this Wiz 19 that you clearly have, that's just another pile of D6s if you stack him with.
It is, in fact, another attack.
The only thing I don't like about this is the Sting doesn't inherently come with a poison. It's just a stabbing.
It does not. It's just a stab. Like, in most cases, you're probably looking at, say, a Bite or a Gore, unless you need a damage type. But then again,
convinced.
If you needed a piercing damage type, you could have gone Gore instead of Sting.
I'm convinced there's a feat somewhere that if you have a Sting attack, you can give it poison. I'm sure that there's a feat in either in general or monster feats that will upgrade a Sting if you have access to one.
Possibly. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I'm sure I've seen it. Well, if someone's interested in it, they'll go and look it up themselves.
Yeah. So mutated shape, extra attack.
Good.
That's kind of just good.
I think we're actually missing improved natural attack in this.
I didn't include improved natural attack because improved natural attack isn't inherently like wild shape support. I mostly just targeted wild shape things.
Okay.
Improved natural attack would benefit wild shape, but...
Okay.
It's technically made for monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is Craft Construct. And?
No, I thought it's made for alchemists, you sure?
Yeah, that's what I thought, but no, it's a monster feat.
It is.
Weird,
so
ain't it?
frightful shape.
19 Wiz?
Yep. I mean, you're probably a druid, okay? You're probably a druid. So 19 Wiz probably isn't going to be surprising. Even if you were a shifter instead of a druid, you probably wouldn't bash your eyes at having 19 Wiz for that will save, and the fact that you have built-in class scaling for wisdom as well, kind of like monks do. In any case,
there's also the point to consider that if you're wearing a headband of your headband, if you've been wearing that for 24 hours and fully attuned to it, it is considered a permanent bonus and does qualify you for things like this.
Yes.
Don't take it off, or you lose those things for 24 hours until you put that bastard back on.
Yeah. So, Frightful Shape essentially gives you a frightful presence that triggers when you attack something. It is charisma scaling.
And character level scaling.
Oh, yeah,
About half of it.
sort of.
Well, it says it, half your character, 10 plus half your character level
Yeah,
plus charisma.
That's normal
Yeah.
for a Frightful Presence. I was just stating that it's charisma scaling because that's the part that's relevant for a druid or a shifter.
Sure.
You know, the charisma
But also, a
dump
lot
stat.
of abilities don't. Whoever's listening might not know that Frightful Presence scales that way. We do. They might not.
Yeah, but also says it on the feet. I didn't think I'd need to explain that bit. I just wanted to emphasize the charisma scaling for a wisdom caster.
If I have shit reading comprehension, someone else is going to have it too.
I suppose. Sure.
I'm right, shut up.
So anyways, neat, cute feat. I don't know if it's good, mostly because it scales off charisma, not wisdom, on a class that probably would dump charisma. Probably.
Yeah. Powerful shape. Good.
Powerful Shape. Powerful Shape treats you as a size category larger for CMD, CMB, carrying capacity, and size-based special attacks that you use or used against you. You know, grab being a good example. You become harder to grab, grabbing becomes easier for you.
You can grab bigger things.
You can grab bigger things. It is not a bad feat, especially if you're trying to do any sort of CMB shenanigans. And I mean, turning into a big thing and having big carrying capacity could be valuable for the rest of your party if your party is desperately in need of a wagon.
Yeah, you could be the pack mule, which,
You can be the pack mule.
considering that a lot of parties go and pick up all of the 50 pieces of half plate, the masterwork swords, and just everything scattered around the floor, you might not have a bag of holding in the Type 6 Type 8 range, because you might not have someone who's actually strong enough to carry a giant scaled bag of holding. It may be you.
The
You're
fact that
bag.
our group's first major purchase was, how
Type
big
6.
can we afford to make a massive bag at the moment?
Type 6, it's a warehouse. Fantastic. Who can carry it? Literally just calf flag. We'll buy it. We'll take it. Let's go.
Creates it, straps it on Calflang, and we never went anywhere without it again.
This is a true story. I was there, running the game, and
I mean,
face-palming.
considering there's thousands of pounds of just ancillary loot still just stuck to the bottom of that thing. Yeah.
When our party eventually passes away, and that is found at the bottom of some dungeon, someone's going spelunking.
Someone's going spelunking in the bag. So,
It's one of the kids. It's the kid's inheritance.
You know.
Oh. They have to figure out what's in it, but they can have it.
Get digging, boys.
Alright.
Some say there's still a bagman in there.
There might still be a bagman in there. You guys aren't historically
When the
good with
bag-
math.
When the bag of holding becomes its own mini fucking dungeon. Damn. Yeah.
Complete with random corpses of things that the players have stuffed in there.
For now. Alright. Wild Vigor.
Wild Vigor, okay.
The only prerequisite is having Wild Shape. So
Yep.
we're starting good.
So it grants temporary HP when you enter Wild Shape, equal to your base attack bonus, and can be used your Wisdom bonus times per day. They last for as long as Wild Shape or until they are lost. I think this actually could be a deceptive amount of durability, especially later in the game, if you start cycling your forms after taking damage.
I think this actually tags into your, like the Quick Wild Shape, where it's an emergency option that will give you a bit of extra staying power. I don't like cycling Wild Shape. In my brain, it feels like a waste, especially for 11 hit points, 12 hit points, or whatever. But it's just an additional layer of I've done something in an emergency, say Quick Wild Shape, and now I've got a temporary HP buffer.
Eh,
Is that worth it to you?
For the perspective, at level 14, which is obtainable, you'll have 6 wild shapes. This is just what you would have naturally. And you should probably have at least the +6 wisdom bonus or higher, assuming you're not neglecting your wisdom completely. So that would be 10 BAB, which would translate into like 60 bonus hit points per day. 70 should you have a bonus wild shape from like an item or something. I think it very well could be. Because even at level 14, 60 bonus hit points can be a lot.
I suppose there's no reason to finish your day with spare wild shapes. So it's like, yeah, you might spare channel to just get group healing done, but you won't be doing. You don't really need to keep spare wild shape. You just maintain the last form you took overnight. That's the duration of it. All right, no, I see your point. I see your point.
You might be stuck with whatever your last wild shape is to make it a good one.
Yeah. Wild speech.
So, wild speech, it allows you to speak in wild shape. You can trigger command words, you can activate spell completion and spell trigger items, you can complete the verbal portion of a spell, but not the somatic portion. You can also speak with animals, like, you know, the speak with animal spell, 2 animals that you have taken the form of. This lasts for like minutes per day equal to your druid level, though.
Hey, what?
Paragraph 2.
Alright, I thought you meant the entire thing, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't remember that.
Yeah. The second paragraph lets you basically speak with animals. You know, as per the spell.
Yeah.
Minutes per day equal to druid level.
Yeah, natural spell and wild speech are sort of necessary to be a caster wild shaper.
No, because natural spell lets you.
Yeah.
Natural spell just lets you.
Oh.
Yeah.
You substitute the various noises and gestures for the normal verbal and somatic components under natural spell.
That's
wild
right.
speech is kind of bad.
And there's like a ring or a collar or something, or that lets you
later.
speak in animal form. Okay.
Never mind. Wild speech bad.
Wild speech is not very good because natural spell, like, yeah, you can't talk, but natural spell just lets you do your spells. And, like, no strings attached. You can just cast your spells. You can use any material components that you or focus components that you possess, even if they're melded within you.
Wisdom 13. There is 1 string attached. It's a very loose-fitting string that
might
as well not be there.
If you're a druid with less than 13 wisdom, what are you doing with your life?
Why aren't you playing a shifter?
Obviously,
why would you play a shifter with 13 wisdom?
Because they don't have spells and you can probably get away with it.
They do have some wisdom scaling class features, though.
I'm just saying.
And what are you doing with your life? Obviously failing to be a good druid.
Clearly. But yeah, natural spell, kind of essential for a druid. Lets you cast your spells while wild shaped. It's amazing.
When someone decides they're going to be a charisma druid.
I mean, there is an archetype for that, but...
There is, sure.
To be fair, yeah. And then you actually have to struggle to reach the 13 wisdom.
Yeah, I guess in that case, yeah. So, shape-changing savage. This one's a bit of an odd feat that requires improved feint. Wild shape can fulfill the requirements for change shape and shape changer. Whenever the user changes shape, they can swift action feint. If the opponent is aware that the user can change their shape, then the buff to feint suffers a -4 penalty. But there is none of the usual penalties for feinting a creature of a different type or a creature with 1 or 2 intelligence. If for some reason you're a feinting druid, which there could be reason for that. You know, like if you're a crocodile domain druid and you had sneak attack.
I'm seeing this seems to be a lot more useful on, say, like the some quick shape change fox to human kitsune shenanigans.
They can qualify for it.
No, they can. It seems, yeah, I can definitely see a kitsune ninja or rogue or something doing more with this than a druid could. But yeah, there's the crocodile, bro.
Yes. So, startling shape change. It's much like the previous feat, but it builds off of Dazzling Display. It allows Wild Shape to fulfill the same prereqs again, and it allows for Dazzling Display to be triggered as a free action off of changing forms. The check is reduced by 5 for those who know you can do this trick. It's the same kind of roll, but then again, Druid being scary can be pretty good too.
I mean,
especially if you like Dazzling
true.
Display.
If you've got Shatter Defenses and other things that build off Dazzling Display, starting the fight with a shape change and just crushing the AC for that, however long it crushes AC for, actually probably pretty good.
Yes, could be.
If you're doing it that way.
Yeah.
So.
And Intimidating Prowess will still add that Strength modifier if you turn into a big Strength monster like an Earth Elemental.
That's fucking true, actually. Alright, this is better than I thought because of that. That's true. Big think.
Usable?
Usable.
Not only usable, but I'm pretty sure the big think means that there's a build being put together in that psychopathic head of yours.
If I ever get around to it, there's a lot of funnier things I want to do.
Okay, I never said something you would play. I said a build forming.
Oh yeah, there's a build forming. Don't worry about it.
Alright. So, Shaping Focus. So, Shaping Focus is, it's basically Boon Companion for Wild Shape. If you're multi-class Druid, your Wild Shape is calculated up to 4 levels higher. You know, up to the maximum of your, like, character level. So you can't go higher than what you normally would be. This can be good if you're playing a multi-class Druid and want Wild Shape to still keep some scaling.
I mean, if you want to really be a big martially Druid, levels of Fighter or Barbarian to just start stacking Rage on top of your Wild Shape leads to some very big stats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exactly the same idea as my as the Barbarian Alchemist. You just stack your mutagen with your Rage, and now you've got giant stats.
I mean, hey, you can make all 3. One's an alchemical bonus, one's a morale bonus, and one's a size bonus.
I mean, true, but if you're leaning on Shaping Focus and Boon Companion to keep everything up to scaling, you'll only be wanting 4 levels of... And maybe you don't want 4 levels of Barbarian. Maybe you want 4 levels of Alchemist.
I mean, that would be 40 minutes versus... what, like, a number of rounds based on this number and that number?
Yeah, like 7 rounds of Rage. So if you're going Barbarian, you effectively run the whole... You have one combat where you're an absolute fucking juggernaut of anger. You can make that better with the whole... Depending on your race. You can get the Amplified Rage on your companions, so you've got some more bonuses and you're both raging. So you've got one fight of... You are just crushing everything.
Delicious. But yeah, Shaping Focus. Could be a good feat. Could be.
I think the thing that hurts me the most about it is that it specifically calls out Druid. Poor Shifter. No multi-class for them.
True.
Yeah, it does. It's not for Shifter at all. It's fine, they don't need it.
Yeah. This enables stat sticking real hard, is what it does.
Yes. So, Voice of Beasts. So, Voice of Beasts is like the Speak with Animals half of Wild Speech, but it's constant, can't be dispelled. Doesn't have a duration. Can I find another way of saying it lasts forever? And you're not limited to just what you turned into. You just have Speak with Animals constant while in Wild Shape.
Something's telling me that this is a better feat than Beast Speech.
You mean Wild Speech? Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Whatever.
They have different uses, but if you like that second part of Wild Speech, this is better.
Well, okay, there's an item that lets you do it. They showed it as you've got natural spell and you have this. You've got all your things covered and you've saved a feat. A bad one at that.
Yes.
So, yeah. Fuck that at the feat.
Invoke Primal Instinct. Invoke Primal Instinct is gnomish shenanigans, so you know it's good.
True. The gnomes have got some jank going throughout the entire
Gnomish.
system.
Remember, they're
Gnomish.
gnomes.
Get gnomed.
Gnomes. Okay, so Invoke Primal Instinct allows a gnome to expend the use of Wild Shape to make a bluff check. All creatures that fail a will save versus DC set by the bluff check regard you as either a figure of fear or contempt. Fear causes the creatures to be frightened of you, and thus flee for 1 round per druid level. Contempt causes the targets to consider you harmless for a minute, and just ignore you unless you attack them or take a threatening action.
That is so good.
That's
That's so
gnomish.
stupid.
It's pretty dumb.
It's so fucking gnome.
Fucking gnomes.
I think it's
God.
funny.
It's actually really good, because if you can get the good jump scare off, you've basically made an entire fight that could happen just scatter into the winds.
Or if you wanted to be a dick in the tavern.
You could be a dick in the tavern. Or you do the, you just get ignored as being harmless and pointless, and you just go fucking lift something. It's like, oh, we need the artifact, and it's being guarded by X and Y. Oh, I'm so weak, and you just go walk up and fucking take it. It's not a hostile or threatening action, you just take it, and they're just like,
They just
deal with it later.
As per text, they just ignore you.
Yeah, they just ignore you doing it. It's basically fucking true invisibility.
It's fucking stupid.
Because you're a fucking gnome.
And let's not forget, okay, so the fear side has descriptors because it's frightened, so it's gonna be fear, emotion, mind affecting. The ignoring them doesn't have any descriptors.
No, it doesn't. On top of that, you can go adopt it in your traits when you're adopted by gnomes, so you can take this on any fucking race.
Anyways, Invoke Primal Instinct. It's definitely a gnomish feat.
I think this is actually really good.
It's really funny.
Oddly good. Fucking
That's
gnomes.
every gnome feat.
As soon as it has gnome, you know it's quality.
You know there's some fucking dumb shit happening. Like, they've even got this. They've got those social feats like bewildering comb or whatever it is, where they just say some gibberish shit you would just stun whoever you're talking to. It's
So what you're saying
gnomes are
is-
so good.
So what you're saying is play a gnome and play the most racially stereotyped gnome you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just stereotype the gnome into this quirky little fucking fella who might say some outlandish things that break your brain.
Alright. So, weapon shift. I think weapon shift's pretty cool. So, weapon shift is it's a feat tree. The feat tree is for those that don't really want to neglect their weapon as a druid. You select one weapon you wield and are proficient with to meld it into your form. Your natural attacks do the damage type of the weapon and gain the mundane weapon properties like disarm and trip. You can't gain double with this way, and you can't gain fragile this way. Trip in this instance gives a +2 to trip enemies, but you can't drop your natural attack. Improved weapon shift. Improved weapon shift will add in any special weapon abilities that you've enchanted onto your weapon to your natural attacks. The example here is flaming. You can't gain dancing natural attacks, or those limited to range or thrown weapons, though. Then,
I
greater
bet you
weapon
could do reach though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do reach weapon though.
Yeah, you could do that with the first one. In any case, the greater weapon shift allows you to finally gain your enhancement bonus to your natural attacks from your weapon, and that nullifies the need for an AMF completely.
Yep. I didn't know this feature existed, but I'm actually looking at it. I'm like, this is a pretty solid contender for some must-haves if you really want something else in your amulet slot.
Like, it opens up your AMF slot. It lets you invest in a magic weapon instead, which will be useful in your natural form, but also cheaper to enchant than an AMF because AMF costs twice the cost of a normal magic weapon.
And on top of that, you can flavor it as your bear having this metal blade for a hand, because that's basically what's happening. It's like, alright, well, I change into a whatever, it's got big enchanted steel fucking claws now. Holy shit!
It's pretty fucking cool, isn't it?
It's actually really cool.
It's
I
so
am down
cool.
with these feats. This is so cool.
They're so cool.
Bear with a sword hand. Hell yeah.
Hey, your T-Rex form could have a hammer for a head and do bludgeoning damage with its blades.
The fucking face smashes them.
Oh yeah, what
What
did you
are
turn
you-
into, Devil Joe? Smash his
Devil
face
Joe?
against thing.
Oh, I love it. Feat tree's actually good. Fuck yeah. No, I'm
Yeah,
down. Damn, that's good.
it's good. Anyways, okay. Shape-shifting Hunter. So this allows for Ranger and Druid to stack for some class features. Ranger gets to scale Wild Shape to the maximum of 8 times per day. Druid gets to scale Favorite Enemy. And it's here mostly because it just calls out Wild Shape as a thing. It's probably better for the Ranger than it is for the Druid, because the Druid is having to take Ranger levels in this case.
Yes,
to be fair, the druid only needs to take 1.
True. True. And suddenly they get full favored enemy scaling. That actually might be good, actually.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, you could do enough ranger levels to get your style.
Yeah, I could.
Just
I
get a
thought
3
that
feet out of it.
But I thought your style was turned into large animal maul opponent.
Not if you've got that fucking shifting weapon.
True. Well, it's still turned into large animal. It's just turned into large animal whose hand happens to be a hammer.
Or sword.
Yeah, but you got your weapon styles that arguably should actually apply to that weapon group then.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's things you could do here.
Yeah, yeah.
It would be a way of getting you want a thing, a particular feat, but you do not have the stats for it, so you can start cheating in a little bit to a certain thing you actually need for doing other things. Due to
Like
stat
BAB?
requirements.
Meanwhile, my first thought now just went to swashbuckler into weapon shifting druid and just be Puss in Boots.
Huh.
Infinity.
Squint.
Interesting.
Squint.
Hey, let me enable the furries more.
No, stop it. They don't need any more enabling.
Shapeshifting Hunter make Ranger good. Because suddenly you're basically turning Ranger into basically Shifter.
It needs
But
it.
Is it better Shifter or is it worse Shifter?
Or you could...
I don't know.
I mean, depending on what your wisdom is, you might have access to some of the decent ranger spells,
Yeah,
like instant enemy or whatever. Unless that's only a fucking Wrath of the Righteous, like, I don't remember.
Instant Enemy is absolutely a Ranger spell. There's a few other
Okay.
spells that do similar functions.
So
They're necessary
there
for
might
Ranger
be
to function, I think.
there might be ways to make it work and just not be in the box.
Yeah. So, aspect of the beast. Oh, here's a little bit of a feat. So it allows for the druid, if they have wild shape, to gain one of these manifestations. It's an improvement to senses, or some claw attacks, the ability to jump good without a run, or some extra initiative, and a bonus to survival checks. A lycanthrope can also take the feat, or a ranger with natural weapons combat style can take the feat. It's
Okay.
a feat.
I
Aspect of the beast
can.
isn't very impressive to me, I'll be honest.
No.
It's like, I feel almost like the best thing here might be the Claws of the Beast giving yourself claw attacks. But most classes that would take this don't need help having claw attacks that are just better than a d4.
If it had a clause for if you already have claw attacks, bump them up a dice.
Yeah.
Then you might be getting somewhere.
I mean, I guess the 9 senses could be useful to, if you at least already have low light vision, getting some dark vision out of it. A feat for dark vision
True.
might not be bad. But a feat for low light vision, probably not very good. the Wild Instinct is kind of feels just worse than Improved Initiative, though it would stack with Improved Initiative.
It would stack. And improved initiative and all these initiative boosting things like, oh, you must have this because going first is king. If you're of that mindset, it is yet more initiative.
True.
I'm saddened I didn't know this existed while I was planning out a Maya. There's
Finding
two more
some
initiative.
way to cheat into it, I guess.
You've already got like a plus 40. You don't need more.
27. I want to break the 30 before the end of the game.
I guess I could hunt down some way to become like Aware Deinonychus or something to get that extra +2.
Wear Anki or bust.
What about Were Rex?
I'll take it. I don't know, that doesn't have the stunning tail blast. Like, putting a stun hammer on the ass of any martial character is like one of those just an absolute mwah, chef's kiss things.
I'm gonna go with calling it unreasonable. Anyways, that's
whatever you that's perspective.
Sure.
Shapeshifter style.
Alright, so we got a style feat here. It's set for shapeshifters, but while the shape will again count for its purpose. Entering the style, like all style feats, is a swift action. While in the style you can choose one benefit, this benefit can be changed with another swifty. The first benefit, a +1 to damage rolls with one natural attack that gets up to a +3 if you have all 3 feats, or a 10-foot climb speed, or a +1 to reflex saves and a +5 movement speed boost, or a +1 enhancement bonus to natural armor. Depending on the form you take, the climb speed could be decent, the damage isn't irrelevant, the bonus to reflex and move speed could be good, the +1 natural armor bonus being an enhancement is less good on a Druid, for example, because they can drop a bark skin. And most other people probably want an annual natural armor. Yeah?
A base... Hold on, my brain is making cogwheel noises.
Okay.
Many style master on a shapeshifter base.
I mean, I think you're getting a little too excited without reading the full set first. Because keep in mind, you only get to choose one of these bonuses when you first activate the feat and changing a bonus to swift action.
Sure, but the second one gives you a CMD boost, which a lot of style feats trigger from.
Twist gives you a CMD boost, not a CMB boost. So it's a defensive boost. Versus several combat maneuvers. And it also will allow you to attempt to break a grapple as a move action rather than a standard, which is actually pretty good on there, to be honest, but...
Well, especially in grappling terms, this helps prevent them take control of a grapple.
It does help keep them from taking control of the grapple, this is true. Because they have to beat your CMD plus any bonuses that you have to your CMD.
Mm-hmm.
The third one allows for you to make a single natural attack if you spent a standard action to change your form. This can be decent if you need to change forms and you can't do it faster than a standard. So it helps to...
Okay, maybe
it helps to, like, save some action economy.
Okay, maybe I did.
I think you got a little excited first.
I got a bit excited. But that standard action attack, can you do anything you need to do that you need a standard action for? Vital, cleave.
You're spending the standard action to wild shape, you're just getting a bonus attack, so I'm thinking probably not. If you could vital or cleave, that would make it salvageable. Easily salvageable, but otherwise...
I'm gonna be honest. The first stage of this bonus kind of worth it though if you're a shape changer in some way.
Possibly.
Like my mind immediately jumped on what we were talking about before, the Kitsune Pouncer. This could just absolutely add things to it.
It makes you just fucking faster for your job. He's like, okay, well, let's say you've got a +5 enhancements bonus to your speed. Yeah. You charge, you're pouncing, that's a 10. You have the Alpenstock or some equivalent item that gives you more speed. You're stacking that on with it.
Or to the steady grip where you get a climb speed of 10 feet. Like, okay, that's the base speed, but if anything slaps on top of it, suddenly you got this fox that just ran up a vertical cliff to come and bite your nads off.
Yeah. There is definitely things you can do with at least that first stage. It's a shame that the follow-ups are just afterthoughts. It's kind of
You
weird,
know?
because normally the good stuff comes in, usually in Tier 2. Tier 2 is
Yeah.
usually the good stuff, and then your shenanigans are in 3.
Yeah. I mean, the third one does contain a shenanigans to help fix
Sure
action
does.
economy
And-
while changing form, but the
And the
tier
worst
2
part
is
is it. Yeah.
like
It doesn't even stack up though. Like just the brutal attack gets like okay, it goes from a 1 to a 3, but
it's like
you
okay,
don't
if
even
you have
need
all
the
three,
others.
if you have like all 3 feats, okay, now you've got slightly better than weapon specialization for 1 attack.
Yeah.
Well,
Which if you only have 1 attack anyways,
I suppose if you have 2 claws and you just pick claws. Because a claw is just a natural attack you just have 2 of them. Right?
it's like I think the best case I thought for this feat was turning into a crocodile and having it grab on your bite.
Yeah. Do be that way, don't it?
Like
All roads are beginning to lead to crocodile fucking domain druids, though.
Lamau. Turn into a crocodile
just
so
that
you
good.
have a single bite that you're going to empower. Or, I mean, a crocodile doesn't normally have climb speed, so I guess a climb speed wouldn't hurt it. I guess. But turn into a crocodile, get your free bite, immediately grab. It's almost like you had a full attack with your bite off of changing form. And it would go
Yeah.
nicely, or it would go okay with the extra temporary HP that you got from that previous feat. Wild Vigor.
I suppose in this instance, you're doing some things that are focusing entirely around having one massive attack like Flute is doing, but it's just one massive natural attack. So, yes, you've got your crocodile with its bite. You've done your energized form thing. Now you're just finding more ways to stack more +1s on top of it, just to make that damage bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, essentially.
Alright, we found a case use for this, but I am also in Des where I think a many style. Then again, if you're doing many style master, you've got that issue where you're wanting to stack as many in as well. So you're
Yeah.
kind of wasting good style feats with Shapeshifter, Twist, and Savage.
Yeah, like you
yeah.
could, like when it comes to mini style masters, you could just be doing something better.
Yep.
You could do something better or more janky, which will probably still net to be quote unquote better.
I mean, if you're playing a mini style master and you're not doing some jank Gmod shit, then you're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Or you're doing One Punch Man. Or you're playing One Punch Man. Also doable with many style master. Because there's that, pummeling style that lets you pull them all into just one titanic hit.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Jabbing style that lets you 5-foot step between and gain additional dice.
Yeah. Okay, this feat sucks.
Yeah, we found a use case, and that's all you're gonna get. Anyways.
Cool, we're on items now.
Yes, that was the last feat. Click. So let's go ahead and knock this one out. The Goreclaw Therasarad. We talked about it in our video about gauntlets, and it was bad then, it's still bad now. It is 23,305 GP for a +2 wounding weapon. It can incorporate into a wild shape but only gets a +2 enhancement bonus, and wounding on claw attacks, and is suppressed if any effect would also improve your natural attacks. It's an item that you use if it dropped until you got something good, and sold it off for the fat paycheck. The Goreclaw, everybody.
Fuck that. Scarab Beth plate. The best plate.
Okay, so we got a +3 breastplate here for 32,350. Normally, a breastplate that's +3 would cost only like 9,350. So let's see where all that extra gold went. First off, it's made of giant beetle and not metal, so a druid can wear it. It halves damage from vermin swarms, and it gives a +2 resistance bonus, which I'm not very fond of the resistance phrase here. Versus saving throws against the extraordinary abilities of vermin swarms. The vermin, extraordinary abilities. Keep that in mind. Most swarms are vermin, but the swarms that are not are nasty. And a lot of their nasty effects are going to be not extraordinary abilities anyways. So,
that nanite swarm that just does constant strength damage until it just fucking knocks you out.
yes.
Fuck that
Or
thing.
the
Fuck Numeria.
what are they? Vescivores or something?
Mm-hmm.
Those things? Yeah.
Evil, like fucking evil extraplanar wasps that. Well, they'll just eat your armor.
Yeah.
They
they're
have
also
fucking armor destruction.
They're also outsiders.
They're
Not
also
vermin.
outsiders. Yeah, they're just straight up outsiders.
So, continuing on. Once per day on command, the wearer can have the chestplate turn into a swarm of scarabs that act as an army ant swarm. Army ants are kind of scary. The ants, scarabs, have to stay adjacent to the wearer, or they will return to the breastplate. If they hit 0 hit points, they will return to the breastplate. If they are commanded, they return to the breastplate. While it is a swarm, the wearer is not wearing any armor.
At 6th level, you can apparently use Vermin Shape 1 or Vermin Shape 2 at 8. What the fuck is Vermin Shape? I'm going to open this now.
Yes, also, a druid wearing it can use the Wild Shape to duplicate Vermin Shape 1 or 2. If they're at least level 6 or 8, respectively.
So
All in all,
you
it's
can
probably
get.
actually worth the price tag.
So you can get Climb, Fly, Swim, Dark Vision, Low Light, Scent, and Lunge. Okay. You don't gain full immunity to mind effects, but you get a +2 bonus resisting, +2 resistance bonus on all such throws. You get Dex bonus, medium is Strength bonus, and high natural armor, +3. And
Ooh.
Vermin Shape 2, when it's capped out, you can also get Burrow. Your Climb gets better, your Fly gets better, your Swim gets better. Low Light, Tremor Sense, Blood Drain.
Yeah.
Constrict, Grab, Lunge, Poison, Pull, Trample, and Web. Okay. I think, because this can take you up to a large vermin,
Yeah.
I think this might be actually really good, especially if that thing has Blood Drain.
Yes, I agree with you.
Like, you gotta find a bug that's got Poison and Blood Drain, and just as many of these things as you can. And I think you've got a nasty flesh-eating beetle boy on this.
Yes.
Item's good. Item's actually good. If you find the right wild shape, item good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm impressed.
agree.
I'm alright with this.
Yeah, I think it's worth it for a druid at least. It might not be worth it for others, but might be still. For a druid, definitely worth it. The Beast Strike Club. Okay, so it's a +1 club with a 7,300 gold piece price tag, with a 5k price jump from the usual. So the Beast Strike Club can be made to do a different damage type as a standard action. The club counts as both a natural weapon and a manufactured weapon while transformed, so it can be enhanced by spells and effects that can enhance either. It can also be augmented by feats and spells that rely on specific natural weapons like Bloody Claws or Weapon Focus. If the user has Wild Shape, she can expend a use of Wild Shape to boost the damage by 1 step for the duration of the Wild Shape. You know, so for as long as the druid remains in contact with it. Also, if they can Wild Shape at will, it's always increased.
I can't tell if this is good or not.
I mean,
is it good
okay,
with
so...
item with weapon melding? Like, let's say you're building on this item, it's no longer a +1 club, it's a +2, +3, +4, +5, because you're putting money into it to upgrade.
Yeah, sure.
And then you've got the ability to fuse it into your wild shape form.
Yeah.
This could actually replace one of your wild shapes form's lower damage attacks into something actually fairly respectable.
Could.
Especially because you can change its damage type to whatever you need.
Yes.
That's never always relevant, but it is what it is.
Yes. I felt like there was something missing from that statement. Oh, you could lockjaw it.
Lockjaw and Strongjaw.
Yeah.
True. But you could do that to yourself anyway.
Yeah. But if you're swinging around as a weapon, grabbing somebody with your club is kind of funny.
Ah yes, the club bit them. Confused screaming.
The club bit them and now they're grappled at the end of your club.
it is a. If you're doing it this way, I mean, wouldn't at that point you have Hamachilasu and have just one of your fucking attacks do it, like your Sting, have an impaling grab?
You could.
This is good, but it's doing things that you're already doing possibly better on a Druid. But you could be replacing one of the weaker natural attacks with this thing's damage, and it will be a step higher.
Yeah. And keep in mind that if you do the integrated weapon thing, it's technically replacing all of the natural attacks with what it is. So if you're, say, turning all of your attacks into claws or all of them into a bite, and triggering effects on your bites or triggering things on your claws.
And I suppose if you've got a form that's got a lot of natural attacks, but they're lower damage ones, you replace them with this, boost the dice, and now you've got a lot of actually much stronger. If you can... And of course then there's size to be considered. It'll boost its size category on its dice. You could further enchant it with impact. Okay, never mind. This is actually just an AMF with more fucking steps but does more things. Actually, this could be an AMF replacement if you've got the correct feats. I'm seeing where this is going and I like this item.
I hate to crush your soul a little bit, but technically speaking, integrated weapons never actually replaces the dice of the attack. But this would hypothetically turn all of your attacks into one type of attack, which means you could build into one type of attack, and that would be your new attack.
My hands and feet are mouths.
Yes. Your hands and feet are now bites. Which could still be fucking hilarious.
Could you imagine doing like some form of the dragon shenanigans with whatever you're doing and having all of your attacks be your weirdly powerful dragon bite? Wing attack, no, it's a weirdly powerful dragon bite. Tail slap, no, it's a weirdly powerful dragon bite.
Ooh.
Yeah, you see what I'm thinking?
Ooh.
Yeah. Alright, Ashley. I see where you're going. I see where this is now.
Yep.
Then it makes some DMs real fucking spooked.
Yeah. Okay, so the Druid's Vestments.
An item that most Druids should have.
Yeah, this is a buy slot item. It fills the same spot as robes for the wood for the most part, and it costs 3,750, so it's pretty cheap. Like, actually very cheap for a magic item. And it grants the character with Wild Shape ability and extra use of Wild Shape. Hands down, good item. Very simple. One more Wild Shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not overly expensive.
By the time that it would, quote-unquote, be outscaled, you'll have more money to buy something better, if you want something better. But
or
then,
if
like,
you're
it's
doing...
still good until like 20th level.
It's just that whole, if you are a fan of wild shape cycling for whatever reason you might be doing it, then this gives you +1 uses of it, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're cycling for whatever reason.
Yes.
I'm not saying you shouldn't, I just can't see a good reason to, but you may have. So, it supports that.
Yeah. I mean, one more Wild Shape, one more Wild Shape. It can't really be bad. For more use of this kind of vital ability. Anyways, Vermin Mask. We're in the head slot. It's not a headband, so that's good. It costs 10,080. I almost feel that 80 is kind of silly at the end of the 10,000, but okay.
That's probably the base price of the mask.
That's a pricey mask. So, like...
Yeah, hell yeah.
This is okay. It's not too cheap, but it's not prohibitively expensive. The mask does need to have a description to like associate it to. But when the user uses Wild Shape or a Vermin Shape spell to assume the form of a vermin that matches the design of the mask, the user can always speak despite the limitation of anatomy, so it just lets you speak. And the Wild Shape lasts an extra 3 hours, or the Vermin Shape spell will last an additional 7 minutes. Naturally, Wild Shape does not have Vermin Shape as an option, though if paired with that Scarab breastplate from earlier, or some certain archetypes, that bit can be comfortably patched.
If you pair it with the body armor, it does also sans the need of eating your next slot for that collar that lets you talk. For a face slot, which most people forget exists anyway.
Yeah.
So I think this serves a bunch of utility roles. Well, it's also more hours on your wild shape, so your wild shape just lasts longer, which gets you close to that permanent wild shape point. When you've
Unless
got
you're
extend
using
wild
the
shape.
unless you're using the vermin version, then it's only 7 more minutes.
No, that's just a spell.
Yeah, if you're using the spell, it's just 7 more minutes. If you're using the actual wild shape to become a vermin, by some means, 3
Like
more
that.
hours.
Okay.
I think this is good in the right combo, because then you've got more hours. You can speak now with your stupid blood-sucking proboscis face part.
Yeah. We'll just
Somehow.
ignore the anatomy restriction. Your voice is coming out of the tip of that. Maybe a little tongue wiggling.
You've got a tiny little pair of lips on the end of your singer, your little proboscis.
Oh, that sounds cursed. Fuck, go back.
Just this little tiny mouth.
Okay.
God, you're gonna look like the most fucked up long faced version of the cursed orange, or the annoying orange.
I don't want to.
You know, if you were around 20 years ago on the internet.
Okay. So anyways,
Them some dick sucking lips. Just not in the way you want me to.
well then. Okay. So, shall we talk about Mask of Giants next? I think we'll move on to Mask of Giants.
Okay.
So the Mask of Giants is also a head slot. It comes in 2 forms, lesser and greater. The first mask form costs 30k. It adds Ogre, Troll, Fire Giant, Frost Giant, and Stone Giant to your wild shape list.
Good.
This offers some senses, a +4 size bonus to strength, a -2 dexterity, and a +1 natural armor bonus. The greater costs 90k, and adds almost everything from Form of the Giants 1. It is still technically worse than the spell with fewer options, but this is a wild shape, so it lasts much longer than the spell, like hours per level rather than minutes. In any case, a +6 strength, -2 dex, +4 con, and +4 natural armor. It's at least comparable to the elemental forms, but also you're gaining like things like possibly regeneration, rend, some other things. Pricey item, could be good, could be built around. And also you have opposable thumbs to actually wield your weapons with.
I'm gonna say you've got a huge general humanoid shape, so none of your items get melded.
Yeah.
Then you can chuck rocks.
Oh, and you can throw rocks. And catch rocks. The Beast Talisman. So this is probably an AMF contender here. It's a next slot item, so that's competing with the AMF right there. It's valued at 18,900 gold pieces. When assuming the form of an animal, i.e. wild shape or beast shape spell, its wearer can expend a spell slot of up to 4th level as a standard action. When she does so, she gains an enhancement bonus equal to double the expended spell's level that applies to attack and damage rolls made with natural weapons for the next 5 minutes. It does not bypass DR though.
Okay.
So...
Well, the bonus doesn't. The natural attack may have other means of going through damage reduction.
Yeah.
You count as silver, whatever.
It's like you might not bypass the DR naturally, but a +8 to hit and damage for sacrificing a 4th level spell.
Yeah, for 5 minutes if you've got it. Yeah, it's all natural attacks too.
Yeah.
This again stacks really well with the whole weapon fusion
It kinda
shenanigans.
does.
Because that could that's probably going to be what's bypassing damage reduction. This is just hitting you, getting it to hit much harder. Yeah, no, this is actually a really, really good amulet. If you've got the level, well, if you're paying twice as much for AMF anyway, I think
It's
this
much
might be better than an AMF.
It's much cheaper than AMF. It does last for shorter bursts, and calls for you to sacrifice a spell level. A spell of like 4th level or lower. But sacking that 4th level spell gives you a +8 to hit and damage.
Well, let's assume
That's
that you've got 4
not
natural
small.
attacks.
Yeah.
8, 16, 32 damage in that flurry. You've done something to give yourself another attack from the mutagenic form. You've got a sting. 30, no, that's plus 40 damage on your full attack. If
Yeah.
you've got pounce and shenanigans, it's applied to all of it. I think this is deceptively good. It's not even deceptive, it's just good.
This
It
is
can
definitely better on the multi attacking varieties and not the big single big attack variety.
Truth.
Oh, definitely, but most things would be more beneficial on a multi-attack rather than a single attack. You know, except
I
for,
mean,
like,
hell,
vital.
if you've got the club, then all your attacks are your best attack.
True.
So, fuck it.
They're all bites now.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Here's the thing, Ashi. Let's
Yeah.
say you've got a form that has a poison sting, and that's
Mhm.
in sting form. Now you're all stings. Like, I think there's other things you can do with that other than just go for the biggest set of dice if you're building through it.
You know, if that
Especially-
works, that could be fucking silly. That could
Well-
actually be absolutely absurd.
Yeah, so you're doing this with, say, the insect form, and its bite attack is the blood drain. You've got multiple blood drain attacks now because of your club shenanigans.
Yeah, I
So-
think that just works. Probably.
I think we've hit a point here where there's actually a spectacularly stupid bug druid build based on those items. That's going on the list.
Druid of Bug. Buge. Alright.
Just a leech that looks like a fucking hydra.
Alright. So the polymorphic pouch, 5k, slotless item, and essentially it's a bag of holding. It's a bag of holding that will not melt into the wearer, and is automatically relocated to being accessible to be withdrawn from, no matter what form the wearer takes. I think the writer got stiffed once or twice by a DM messing with their ability to interact with their bag of holding, but still, it's not
This
a bad
is-
item for a druid.
I think this is definitely a spite item.
It sounds like a spite item. It looks like a
But
spite
because
item.
because it's a spite item, it's going to be applicable to somebody's group to just
Yeah.
fuck with the DM messing with their stuff. Because if it's one thing players hate, it's a DM touching their things.
I can't argue that.
Good item, spiteful.
As a player once, I do recall moving heaven and earth to a minorly inconvenient someone who dared touching her things.
I thought that was that witch in Kai's campaign who nicked our fucking.
I
loot
was not
chest.
in that campaign.
Oh.
I was talking about
But-
Sandville.
Oh, yeah,
He stole
okay.
from us, we rocked up, we beat the crap out of him. We slapped his wrist after, and then left. Leaving him very confused.
Biggest mistake we ever made in that campaign.
Maybe.
We
Anyways,
got
the
fucking. Yeah.
The Ring of Eloquence. So this is a item that Des was bringing up earlier. It's a ring that costs 3,500 gold pieces, so kind of cheap for a ring slot. It essentially has 4 languages on it. The wearer can speak and understand these 4 languages. She retains this ability to speak these languages, even when in forms normally unable to speak, i.e. Wild Shade. It also gives a +2 confidence bonus on Bluff, Diplomacy, Intimidate, Perform Oratory, and if the wearer is deafened, the deafened spell failure chance for verbal components is reduced to 10%. I wouldn't call it an essential item, but not a bad item. Worth consideration if you want to be able to speak while as your bear.
It frees up a feat slot, effectively.
Takes a ring
Is what
slot.
it does. And
So-
finally, the Wild Enchantment.
The Wild Enchantment. This is a +3 bonus magic special property that can be applied to armors and to shields. This allows the wearer to maintain armor bonus from armors and shields while wild shaped. This can be very good stacking with everything else and can help your druid achieve pretty high armor classes.
How is the bear wielding a shield? Skillfully, it turns out.
I mean, honestly, it might just be, oh, that wooden shield? Yeah, you see those wooden bits poking out of the fur? Yeah, that's the shield. It's all over its body now. Enjoy.
Fair.
I prefer to picture the bear holding like that club and the wooden shield, and just looking like a like
Yeah,
a
it's a
ghetto knight.
berserker.
Yeah.
Well, it's a berserker. At that point, he's just a fucking Viking.
Is this Sir Barrington?
Oh god.
What's your Drew's name? Bjorn. It means bear.
Ah.
Bear Barrington. The bear.
Is that gonna go up there with the with Bug Druid and Ape Druid? Ape Companion?
So, Bug Druid is better than this because it's doing all the same things but funnier. But Ape with a gun is pretty funny.
Ape with a gun's pretty funny.
Ape with a gun's pretty good.
But yeah, that comes to the end of our list for today. Do we have any
Hey.
parting thoughts to share with the audience?
Some of these were a lot better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, some of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
Some of them's not very good, but most of it's good. And pretty much everything stacks.
Yes. That's the most important thing.
I think the saddest thing about it is that you're never gonna have enough feat slot to fill up with all this things.
Clearly your goal is to be a fighter with variant multi-class druid.
I'm sure. I'm sure you can get away with that actually and do some shenanigans.
Me trying to think on if you can actually get away with that.
Don't know until you build it.
Right. Well, if you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, possibly subscribe, maybe leave a comment. And I think next time we're going to start another exhortation on animal companions.
Behold, another 12-hour set of fucking videos.
Aren't you excited? I'm excited.
No.
Yeah, I like Animal Companion more than I like Cleric, so maybe. Depends.
Good. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Later.